Welcome back to CGN. Bobby G here. Today, honored to be with Dianna Lee, a senior at Northwestern University. Hey, Dianna, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for taking time out in your busy schedule. Appreciate you coming aboard. Obviously, CGN, big fan of the Wildcats, and delighted to have you. So, if it's okay with you, can we back up a few years and talk about kind of junior golf and how you got started in the game?
Yeah, for sure. Basically, golf is my first memory ever. It's all that I could remember. Um, my grandparents basically brought me out to the course, and they were the ones that introduced me to the game of golf. Um, and so during my younger years, as I remember it, I just spent a lot of time on the golf course with them. And basically, that was just how I grew up. I just grew up on the golf course, and that's where I learned to walk, how to talk, and all those types of things that children do. But I think
You
at
you
some
weren't wearing seriously, you weren't wearing golf shoes when you were 3, were you?
you know what? They probably put me in them too, honestly. But yeah, I mean, it was more so something for me to do with my grandparents and have like bonding time with them. But I think at some point when I turned 11 or so, my parents, more so my mom, thought that I had some talent and potential. And she said, "Why don't you go try a tournament?" Like, even though there are younger kids out here that are playing tournaments when they're 7, 8, like, why not just give it a shot? And so I played my first golf tournament when I was around 11, 12, and I actually did pretty well. I played in the one of those SDJGA, San Diego Junior Golf tournaments, and from then on, that just started my golf career more seriously and competitively, and that's what led me here.
Great. Awesome. So at that young age of 11 and 12, like, what were like, who was helping you the most, like, perfect your swing, your getting that, figuring out how to compete, how to play at that high level at such a young age?
Yeah. So, contrary to what you might think, I didn't have a coach back then, and my grandparents were the one that taught me golf. My grandparents are also very good, and I owe a lot of my foundation and the basis of my swing to them. And so that's kind of what got me through my first couple years of competing. But then as soon as um as soon as I turned a little bit older, my parents thought having an actual coach would be really beneficial so that I would learn more techniques. And so I had gotten a coach through recommendation, and he was actually also the coach for Hannah Kim at one time at Northwestern. After being his student for a couple of years, I graduated to my now coach, Chris Mason.
Great. So, so after that kind of getting started, and let's jump forward to high school. And you went to Westview High School and in the beautiful San Diego area. What was your high school experience like being a very obviously serious student as well as a competitive golfer at that level?
Yeah, what was interesting is I didn't play high school golf, for my team, I mean, and I kinda just, took it upon myself to stay individually motivated and play individual tournaments. Um, and I loved going to school in San Diego. It's perfect, honestly, if you wanna play golf because you get to go on the golf course, like, all year round. Um But yeah, being a student was also equally as important to me as pursuing this game of golf, and, I'm very glad that I chose Northwestern, that Northwestern offered me an opportunity to play, on a high collegiate level, but also getting my degree at a good school.
Great. So, how did you think about and how did you learn about Northwestern? You mentioned Hannah Kim, who was a Wildcat. And was is a little bit older than you, but how did you decide that you wanted to be a Lady Wildcat?
Yeah, I think one of my biggest deciding factors for me was community. Considering the fact that I didn't play high school golf and not knowing what team golf really looked like, I think going and choosing a team that had a great team culture and community was really important for me because I felt like being surrounded by people that support you and care about you was probably going to help me grow. Um, I learned about Northwestern. I knew kind of knew about Northwestern just because it is a great school, but I kind of started to look at it kind of differently and started imagining what it would be like for me when I went to my first US Girls Junior tournament, and there I met now Northwestern golf alum Irene Kim. So she was there. I was at the time a freshman in high school, and she was a senior in high school, and she was signing her papers to officially commit to Northwestern. And I was like, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" And she was just signing all these documents, and she was like, "Oh, I'm about to like make it official to Northwestern." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Um and then I became really close with her. And so that's when by the time it was time for me to start talking to schools, Northwestern was my biggest contender just because of how close my relationship with Irene was. And that just ties back to my point of community. Knowing that she would be there when I would go to school was really cool. So community was a big decision for me.
Yeah, and obviously it goes without saying, but, my personal opinion is that you have one of the best coaches ever in women's golf. Um, Coach M's gonna be a future Hall of Famer. I predict that right now, and she is just classy and smart and, just an amazing role model. I know that you guys really look up to her and your assistant coach as well.
Yeah.
But I just, were some of those early meetings like, if you don't mind sharing with you and Coach M?
Yeah, and like you said, right off the bat when I first met Coach, and Beth included, they both just have an amazing charisma to them, and they have this sort of aura that kind of pulls you in, and you get the feeling that they just really know what they're talking about. And as, a teenager that probably doesn't really know much, you're like, "Wow, like, I totally believe you, like, this is amazing." Um, they they obviously have that charisma, and they kinda just pulled me in into what Northwestern was all about, and seeing how, you know, excited they were about the purple and how, like, loyal they were, it just made me even more curious about what the school is like, and yes, and coming here, I can agree that they are just as amazing as when you first meet them.
That absolutely. So, you came out of the blocks smoking as a freshman. I mean, you had Big Ten Freshman of the Year, runner-up at Silverado, 8th at UCF Challenge, 10 under par, 4th at the Ping ASTU. You played in the NCAA regional and championship appearances. Talk about, like, setting the bar high for a freshman year. You crushed it. What was going on?
Thank you, first of all. Um, I was really, really motivated, right before coming into college. I was so excited to start competing at a collegiate level, and all I really wanted was to just go, go, go. Um, and, as a freshman and being on a team setting, I really wanted to prove myself that I was, um, capable of belonging on this team, and and I also think that with the help of my coaches, with my now current coaches, and just the friends and family that I made, on being on this team just really was such a great environment for me, and I really did play good golf from that.
But then freshman year in the mirror, you go out and crush it your sophomore year and in your junior year. I mean, some of the accomplishments are just breathtaking, to be very candid. I'm really honored to be speaking to you. I mean, 36 rounds, 6 at the Illini, 13th at Silverado. Then you get all Big Ten second team, 73 stroke average, Ping ASU, 10 under par, third at St. Andrews, T20 at the NCAA Championships as a junior. You went 2-1 in match play. How do you keep getting better, Deanna? I just am dying to understand how you after I mean, yes, I'm sure you're like, okay, freshman year, and you something inside of you pushed you, and I'm dying to hear what it was that enabled you to keep getting better sophomore year and junior year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that you think that I'm such a great player and have, like, all these achievements, but I I kind of wanna disagree just a little bit.
Yep.
Um, for me, I felt like I had a little bit of a struggle my sophomore year. I was struggling with my game a little bit despite, like, having some good rounds. I didn't get to play in regionals and at nationals during my sophomore year, and that was kind of a time where I was really um, trying to figure out some things in my game and my swing, and it was just not coming together, and what helped me to get out of that difficult spot, and what boils down for me is, like, my values um, and what I believe in. I'm such a family person. I will do absolutely anything for my family, and during those times, like, my family, they were extremely supportive, and they're always supportive in whatever I do and whatever endeavors I take on. Um, they they are basically the reason why I'm so motivated to keep getting better at golf. They always tell me not to get complacent with myself, and honestly, it's not really about like, "Oh, I wanna be a better golfer, I wanna keep, like, putting down these scores." It's more about, "Oh, like, before that, you need to be a really good person, and my family wants me to be this driven individual, and so, no matter if I'm playing golf or not, they believe that I can be this individual that just can take on anything that I do, and so I guess that's sort of what helped me out of that difficult spot, knowing that I have this support system in place, and it's not golf doesn't define me as a person, and it never will. And so that definitely helped me get into where I am now. I had a good junior run, and as a senior now on my team, I really hope that I have sort of that same impact that my family did on my teammates.
That's amazing. So I want to go back because you segued a little bit into one of my next questions. Actually, two of them. First is, I know you probably want to do a show. You mentioned your parents and your family, so love to give you an opportunity. I don't want to get a text from anyone in your family that we didn't mention them. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to give you a great opportunity to express your gratitude and your love and your appreciation to your family and shout out to them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hi, mom and dad, if you're watching. Hi to all my relatives and cousins who might watch this too. But specifically to my family, I just want to say how grateful I am to have you as my relatives and as my family. And you keep me so motivated to keep playing the sport and be a student and attack all these other things and endeavors in life. I just want to say that you have helped me grow and become a person that I didn't think I would become at this age. And honestly, you are the reason why I keep playing this sport and I want to be a better person. I want to be a better golfer. And hopefully one day I can repay um, all of this and all the opportunities you have given me.
You are giving me the chills right now. I gotta be really honest with you. That was so emotionally heartfelt, and, Mr. and Mrs. Lee, I hope you get to see this. Super impressed. Full disclosure, I've met your daughter before practicing, and she's as nice in person as she is on the screen, and so, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a really strong message. I also wanted to touch back, you segued into an amazing line that our younger golfers can't hear enough, in my opinion, and I hear it from some of the other top players in the world, like yourself, is golf does not define me as a person. That is just such a great sentiment to, how you put it into perspective and how you can reconcile being under competition, under all that stress and pressure. So I want to get into the mental game a little bit now that I've set you up on that. How do you stay so composed? We're going to talk about some amazing tournaments where you've had success in a minute, but how did you stay so composed? And I'm curious if it was the same as it was freshman year and sophomore year, junior year, or were there things that you might want to share with our younger viewers that want to grow up and be like you and have the success that you've had? And how do you do that? How did you deal with that mindset of golf is not going to define me as a person, but yet go out and shoot lights out?
Um, I wanna say that I've always been more of a positive person. I've never really gotten, like, really emotionally, like, outwardly physically mad or angry on the golf course. I'm not the type of person to slam my putter or just, like, like, slap my thigh or anything like that. That's just never been me. Um, and I think that sort of kinda just bled into my collegiate golf where under pressure moments, um, and even when I do, hit bad shots and end up in these bad situations, I never really get too down on myself just because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, like, I did hit a bad shot or I did have a bad round, but that doesn't have to define, um, your day. Like, even though I hit a bad shot or I'm in this bad spot, like, behind the tree, I'm still having a good day. Like, it's about, like, changing that mindset of don't like, it's like, yes, be in the present and be focused on what you're focused about, but once something happens, just let it go. Like, it's not gonna hurt you, and holding on to those emotions and whatever you're doing, it's only really gonna affect you negatively when you keep going down the stretch on the golf course, and especially because golf is such a long game of 4-ish hours. You never wanna you never wanna put yourself in a position where you're going too fast, like, you get too into it, you're feeling t your emotions are too high, and you're just like, "We gotta go, go, go." You just kinda have to take a step back and just kind of reassess that, it's okay that you hit a good shot, like, you're never ever going to have a perfect round, and even when you shoot, I don't know, 62, that doesn't mean that you had a perfect round, but you did play great. And so just going back to that point, it's like, it's okay to have bad rounds, because at the end of the day, that doesn't that doesn't tell me anything about you as a person. Your scores don't say anything about who you are. They don't say anything about who I am. And so I think it's important for younger players to kind of take on that more of a positive mindset of just letting go of the shots that you don't need. You don't need to carry that baggage on that course. So yeah.
It's amazing. Is there anything in particular that you feel comfortable sharing of that mindset, that mental part where, okay, it happened, as I just heard you, doesn't define me as a person, but how do you stop looking in the rearview mirror and get on to the next shot? What do you do? Is there a breathing, or is there something that you do specifically that you would mind sharing with our audience about how you just, okay, it happened. That's life. It's not who I am. It's not who my parents taught me to be. It's not what I'm all about, but I got to go hit another good shot. How do you do that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's inner dialogue. So inner dialogue is super important, and I think that it's something that, like, younger players should be able to utilize. Like, what is the voice in your head? Like, what is it saying? And you kind of have to separate yourself from your thoughts because you don't want to listen to your thoughts and just be like, okay, this is me. Sometimes you will have thoughts that just aren't going to benefit you. Um, I will say that on the course, when I do have bad shots, or when I'm under pressure, I will take, some time. I will step away. I will take a couple of breaths, deep breaths, kind of just compose myself, feel my heartbeat kind of slow down and just go back into it, do my routine and hit the shot. So I think it's really helpful to just have a set routine that you have for yourself and just kind of stick with it. Like, don't ever change things. Like, if you make a good routine and stick with it, because that will help you when you're under pressure because you're doing something familiar to you. Um, and also, it's okay. Like, if you hit a bad shot, I will say, if you want to get angry, get angry. Like, get angry, feel that emotion out, and then just leave it. Like, you got angry, you felt it, and you accepted it. Let's just move on to the next shot. And you might end up with another bad shot, but that's okay. You just got to keep repeating the process and then something good will happen out of it.
It's just phenomenal, wisdom from, an amazing player and great advice, great sage advice. That's just tremendous. Thank you so much. Now I want to get to the highlight of the interview. Although it's been great. I want to talk about the big win last year at Natty's and obviously an epic moment, I think, in your young career. You had some key match play wins and first ever in the history of the program to win. So walk us through like getting to the Natties and then what happened once you got there.
Yeah, the nationals was definitely a culmination of things. We usually get pretty hot in the spring season, and so, after spring break where we spend a week of just intense training, we usually come out of it really sharp, and we come out of that, and play ASU, we play Silverado, and then we hop into regionals, and during those weeks of competing, we just keep on we keep we keep honing down on what we need to work on and just really being a player. Like it's sometimes it's not about like what do I need to work on? It's more like let's just compete. We're competing out there, we're gonna grind it out and we're never gonna give up. And Natty's was just something that we're so excited to do because every year we at the beginning is tough. And like to make it to fight, but we were sort of off the cut line. And then we kept on getting closer to match play, and it was just another goal that everyone was sort of working towards, and just getting there was just so much fun. And we weren't really looking at the end result, and I feel like that's what kind of helped us. We weren't thinking about, oh, like, "Oh my god, like, what are we gonna do if we lose? What do we need to do to win?" I think we really just went out there and we said, "Let's compete, let's see, what we got." Like, we're just going to go out there and just grind it out.
That's amazing. So proud and so excited. And what an accomplishment, I think, that you and your team last year. So, how do you feel about this coming up spring and doing a repeat?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the talk lately. There's no expectations. Every year, teams change slightly, and you get new players or you keep the same old players. But we're looking forward to spring. We're looking to get after it. We just came off of a pretty long stretch in the fall, and so um if we can repeat what we did last year, then so be it, let's go.
Great. So, final question for you, a little off topic, but I'm very curious. We ask this question of everyone, and then we tally all the answers. Want to hear what your favorite karaoke song is.
Ah, oh my gosh, that's I love this question. I don't really do much karaoke, but oh god, if I had
It
to
just
choose a song.
it could be a walk-on song or, something that really gets you fired up or
Okay. I think a song that I really like is probably "Valerie" by Amy Winehouse.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome. We will put that on our list and it'll be on the board for voting at the end of the season. So we'll get to see how many others agree with you. And anyway, it was such a pleasure and honor to spend this time with you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
of course.
I know that you have an amazing team, and Coach Beth and Coach M are going to have you guys ready for the spring. And I'm so excited to watch and be part of bringing on the Wildcats for another hopefully repeat. And it was a pleasure. Thank you again, and it's been so much fun. Really, best of luck to you the rest of the year. And we look forward to watching you in further tournaments and then beyond. I don't want to put any pressure, but I just want to say I have a feeling you're going on. I don't want to get too far ahead of our of yourself, but I just wanted to know that we'll be watching and rooting for you all the time.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today.
You're so welcome. Great to see you again. Thanks.